Nobody gives Vice President Atiku Abubakar the credit for leading the economic policy making under the Obasanjo administration. Many of the things that we take from BPE to the economic team was under his leadership. But maybe because we don't write a lot and people don't read history, we tend to forget. We only remember negative things. And I think it's part of human nature to remember only negative things and forget positive things. And I remember in the 60s, 70s, 80s, the traditional political partners of the North and South. Let us not forget that. Let us go back to that. Let us save this country because it really requires saving. We need a rescue operation.
Atiku Abubakar, Rufai, and other northern politicians visited Pandev to pay their last condolence to Pa Edwin Clark, who died few days ago, and they used that opportunity to campaign for Atiku Abubakar ahead of the 2027 general election. If you are used to Atiku Abubakar's style of politics, you will notice that Atiku Abubakar is not always in Nigeria after every election. He always goes to Dubai and rest. But if you notice carefully, you will notice that Atiku Abubakar has been in Nigeria and he has been visiting several places. This is because the dynamics has changed. Mr. P2B has changed the dynamics of Nigerian politics. Mr. P2B did not go away after the election. He has been moving around, making his presence known to the people, and it just like Mr. P2B is campaigning, and Atiku Abubakar has seen that as a challenge. So Atiku Abubakar has started earlier off to start positioning himself as the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Atiku Abubakar is making an early move, and he suggests that he is seeing an opportunity, particularly for the northern region. Atiku Abubakar is seeing himself to be the one to get the votes of the northern region in 2027 general election. You won't really blame Atiku Abubakar for thinking in this manner, because this is how he has been thinking. Atiku Abubakar has been thinking in a straight line from 2019 to 2023. That is the same way he has been thinking. He sees himself as the only one that can win the presidency as a northerner. And this was exactly the same mistake they did in 2023. There was no reason why Atiku Abubakar should contest the 2023 general election. Having had President Muhammadu Buhari, a Muslim from the north, rule Nigeria for 8 years, it was a turn of a southerner. And as a PDP politician, all Atiku Abubakar should have done is to support a southern candidate. But because they feel that it is the birthright of the northern politician to rule Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar threw himself to contest the election. He feels that with the northern vote, he could have won the election. History has not taught him a lesson. President Muhammadu Buhari has been winning the northern vote ever since he has been contesting as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but he was never made the president with the northern vote until he aligned with the south, especially the southwest. With the help of the vote from the southwest, President Muhammadu Buhari was able to win election as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. When President Muhammadu Buhari was living in 2023, Atiku Abubakar thought that the votes from President Muhammadu Buhari would have gone to him. That was the reason why he threw himself in and contested that election. Unfortunately for him, Kwankwaso was also there, and they all contested that election from the northern region. Kwankwaso took 1.something million away from Atiku Abubakar's vote, and even though he won some part of the north, it was not enough for him to win the election. Maybe he felt that that election was rigged. Maybe he felt that Bola Tinubu should not have been declared the winner of that election, and he feels that now Bola Tinubu has gone in as a president and he has performed abysmally poor, that Nigerians will be up against Bola Tinubu. They will all go all out to vote for him as the president in 2027. That is the reason why he's coming up again. That same miscalculation they did in 2023 is the same miscalculation they are doing again ahead of the 2027 general election. Or maybe he felt that someone like Rufai and some other northern senators are against Bola Tinubu, and especially the northern region at large against Bola Tinubu. They are all going to give the vote they gave to Bola Tinubu to Atiku Abubakar. Even if Atiku Abubakar wins all the votes in the north and the north central, it will not be enough to make him the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Maybe he knows, he understands that that will not be enough to win him the presidency. And that is why they are talking about aligning with the South. They have talked about having a mega party to form a merger. And the only candidate from the South they feel that can give them that lifeline, the only candidate from the South with so much popularity, with so much clout, with a huge chunk of vote, a block vote, is Mr. P2B. So they are seeking an alignment with Mr. P2B. And there have been some underground work and discussion to align with Mr. P2B. P2B currently, the Labour Party is in crisis, so P2B seems like someone that does not have a party so far. But Mr. P2B has the Obedient Movement behind him, and the Obedient Movement is capable of giving Mr. P2B 10 million votes if there is a free, fair, transparent election in Nigeria. Atiku Abubakar is aware of it. The northern politicians, they are aware of it. Even Atiku Abubakar cannot get that number of votes in a new party. So aligning with Mr. P2B is their only best bet, their only sure ticket for Atiku Abubakar to become the president in 2027. But Mr. P2B has openly said that he is not going to align with anybody. He's not going to create a major party with anyone if their sole purpose is for state capture. This is Mr. P2B indirectly telling them, no, I will not work with Atiku Abubakar. That is Mr. P2B indirect way of telling Atiku Abubakar that you are not fit to become the president. You are not fit to contest the election. If you really want change of power, then support me. Mr. P2B understands that the gathering of the northern politicians to wrestle power away from Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not because they love Nigerians. It is not because they care about the state of the nation. It is not because they want to introduce policies that will make Nigeria to be prosperous. It is all about state capture. It is all about bragging rights. It is about their tendency to hold on to power. And that is exactly the way it is. When Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was in power, they gang up against him to wrestle power away from him. They don't want a Southerner to be on that seat. They want to be the one to control the power sharing formula in this country. And of course, we understand that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has performed abysmally poor. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has not lived up to the expectation. So they are using that model to say that, okay, Bola Ahmed Tinubu should not continue beyond 2027. But if they care more about Nigeria, if they care more about equity, justice and fairness in this country, they should allow a Southerner to continue from where Bola Ahmed Tinubu stopped. If all they care about is to remove Bola Ahmed Tinubu, not to project another Northerner after President Muhammadu Buhari has ruled for 8 years. That is outright selfishness. The truth is, instead of Atiku Abubakar or another Northerner to become the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a Southerner, should continue as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So Mr. P2B do not want to be a part and parcel of their conspiracy to capture power and wrestle power away from a Southerner. All this movement from Atiku Abubakar reeks of desperation. Atiku Abubakar is desperate to become the president. And knowing someone like Atiku Abubakar, he is a transactional politician. He will use his money to buy his way, even to become the president. And that is a very bad optics for him. That is the reason why he wants to lure Mr. P2B to come into a party so they will go and contest a primary. He knows that he will use his money to rescue Mr. P2B away from any party primaries. Of course, you know that party primaries in Nigeria are transactional. The party delegates will go there, take money and vote for the person that gives them the highest money. It is not about the good and better candidate emerging. It is about who was able to buy his way out. And that is what Atiku Abubakar is good at. Again, Atiku Abubakar knows that age is not on his side. In 2027, Atiku Abubakar will be 81 years of age. That is even too old for someone to come out to contest an election, but he knows that at 81 years of age, that is his last bet, his last shot at the presidency. So if he does not become the president at 81 years of age, in 2031, when Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be leaving, he will be 85 years of age. I don't think he will have that strength to come out again to contest for the presidency. Therefore, he is desperately eager to become the president in 2027, and he will do whatever he takes to achieve that. Atiku understands that there are younger, vibrant, and better candidates in Nigeria that could wrestle power away from Bola Ahmed Tinubu if all their concern is to make Nigeria better. But he shows that it is about state capture. That is the reason why he is making this early move. And again, Peter Obi has let them know that he is not going to enter into any alignment with them. There will be no alliance between Mr. Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar if Peter Obi will not be fronted as the presidential candidate. Atiku Abubakar also feels that if Mr. Peter Obi had contested the 2023 general election with him as the vice president, he would have won the 2023 presidential election. Mr. Peter Obi refusing to align with him in 2027 to take power away from Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar is already seeing Mr. Peter Obi as an enemy. So if Mr. Peter Obi will not help him to win the 2027 general election, Atiku Abubakar will also work against Mr. Peter Obi emergence as the president of Nigeria. Atiku Abubakar will not support Mr. Peter Obi. In this regard, they will do everything to frustrate Mr. Peter Obi from emerging as Nigerian president. If only Atiku Abubakar can take a look at the mirror, he will notice that he is the cause of him not being the president. If Atiku Abubakar had supported Goodluck Ebele Jonathan in 2015, the high tendency of him becoming Nigerian president in 2019 would have been 99.9%, but he fumbled it and supported President Muhammadu Buhari. His chances of winning election in Nigeria was given to President Muhammadu Buhari, so he has no other chance to become the president in Nigeria. Of course, he is looking at the fact that he came second in the last election, but he should also have in mind that the election results were rigged heavily in his favor in some PDP states like Delta State, Akwa Ibom State, and other states. So the numbers that were given to him were not real. He should not be deceived. This was the same deception they had going to the 2023 general election. In 2019 general election, they got 11 million votes. Atiku Abubakar felt that 11 million votes was allocated to him because he's a Northerner, because he's Atiku Abubakar. But he forgot that he contested that election with Mr. Peter Obi. Most people voted for PDP in 2019 because of the presence of Mr. Peter Obi. That was the reason when Peter Obi left PDP to join the Labour Party, most people that supported Atiku Abubakar in 2019 supported Mr. Peter Obi. They all moved with Mr. Peter Obi and formed the Obedient Movement. Peter Obi is the only presidential candidate that got the real vote. The 6 million votes that were allocated to him, we all know that it was just to demoralize his support base, to make it look like Mr. Peter Obi came a distant third. Peter Obi won the 2023 general election. Therefore, if Rufai, if Atiku Abubakar, if the northern politicians are looking for a way to wrestle power away from Bola Ahmed Tinubu, their only best bet is to ensure that they front Mr. Peter Obi as the presidential candidate. Their only best bet is to ensure that they throw all their support behind Mr. Peter Obi. Their only best bet is to ensure that Atiku Abubakar do not contest that election, because Atiku Abubakar contesting again in 2027 is going to cause a lot of voter apathy. Most people will not come out to vote. The only way most Nigerians will come out to vote in the 2027 general election is when a vibrant and a better candidate emerge to challenge Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Most Nigerians are already frustrated with the system. They don't even care about 2027. If you notice, in 2023, the election was so exciting. Most Nigerians were very excited about that election. The reason was because of Mr. Peter Obi. They saw a different breed of politician. They saw a different way of campaign. They saw a different way of political discourse. Peter Obi made that election very exciting, and most Nigerians went out of their way to ensure that he becomes the president. If Mr. Peter Obi is not the main challenger to Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027, then there is going to be a massive voter apathy. And of course, majority of Nigerians will prefer to see Bola Ahmed Tinubu continue as the president than the northerner to take over from Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.